Namaskar, welcome to Honest Astrologer. And first of all, my apologies since some of you had complained about the issue you had faced in the previous two videos about the voice quality. Actually, I used Blueca mic. It's a very professional mic, but Apple did some update and this has stopped working with my MacBook Air. So my apologies. So today I'm back to the good old Samsung. So I hope the noise is loud and clear. I tried a Boya mic, but again wouldn't work with an MacBook. So if you have any suggestions, please mention in the comment section below. I'll be happy to do that. I am not comfortable recording on phones. I'm a very old school person. I prefer the good old laptops. I do have Android and iPhones, but I am somehow very comfortable with my laptop sitting there. I don't feel very comfortable shooting on my phones, but I might have to make that switch given the way technology is going. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, please write down. I know I have a lot of young clientele, so help out this old man. Okay, might help your Shani and Good. Okay, so first of all, thank you for the great response you did on the video about glamorous career. I was expecting hate comments. Thankfully, there were none. And a lot of you resonated with what I had said. And there were some really good comments about the issue that people face while they are dealing with the careers. And of late, I have seen that there is a certain unhappiness and conflict that has come in careers, and it's at a flashpoint. अभी कोई survey आया है where they have said that 80% and more than 80% people are unhappy with their jobs. Apparently, something has gone really wrong with the system. The script does not work anymore. You go to college, get a good job, and then you retire with a golden watch and a lot of money. Doesn't seem to work anymore. Okay. So on the one side, we have seen the negative side of capitalism. Top corporate bosses coming and asking you to work 70 hours, 80 hours per week in the name of nationalism. Arey bhai, if you are so much worried about nationalism, why don't you hire double the people to do double the work? Unemployment is a far bigger problem, right? So I would request the rich capitalists to hire double the people. That would be much better for the nation. More productivity, more money in the system, richer people. They wouldn't do that. So while I am a supporter of capitalism, not this kind of capitalism, and hiding your intentions of exploiting the employee behind the veneer of nationalism, I think the young generation is too smart for that. So I don't see that happening. There is going to be a pushback, and there's a big pushback by the internet and the young generation. So Gen Z, I'm on your side. Keep the battle going. I'm a capitalist. I will never ever be a communist or a socialist. I've seen what it has done to people. You can look at countries like Cuba and Venezuela. No way, please. It sounds very good on paper. It has never worked in history. It will never work in ever. Okay. So I do not have a lot of sympathy for people dying for a sarkari job, because that is the extreme case of communism, socialism, because once you get a sarkari job, you'll never have to work again in your lifetime. And if you ever do a little work, it's a pity that most people in this country plan to become bureaucrats so that they can stop the progress. So as long as we don't have more and more youngsters coming out and creating a startup nation in India like they have in Israel, I think the biggest hurdle for this country is the people's fascination for government jobs. In a country where people depend on the government for employment, it's a very bad idea. We should be depending on government for security and justice and nothing else. If we are asking government to provide us employment, we are in deep trouble. Okay. Now coming to some people in the comment section were asking me specific yogas for specific careers, and I realized that this can backfire on me karmically. Reason being, people are asking me what leads to a medical career, what leads to a fintech career, what leads to a UPSC thing. And there's a very beautiful question about UPSC. I'll answer that. My problem is if I say that X planet in Y house leads to a medical career and there is such a yoga. Let's say a father obsessed with trying to make a doctor out of his son. He gets to know कि साहब जी विजय कुमार बोले ये योगा है. My child has this yoga. Oh बल्ले बल्ले चलो बेटा let's prepare for NEET. I don't want any part of that karma. I will keep this far more generic. Let's say the boy is more suited for a business career, okay, or maybe a legal career. And just because I created a video, Pitaji pushes him into biology, I will have to suffer some karma. I am not going to be open to that kind of thing. And parents in India, with their obsession with the STEM, I am not giving them any more ammunition. Okay? And God forbid if I speak about yogas that make one a government servant, my goodness, 84 लाख योनि का चक्कर लग जाएगा मेरे को. I don't want that. So I'm going to keep things generic. I'm not going to talk about a specific that leads to a particular career because we are on a dangerous business here. There is no one big yoga that will override everything. There are 9 planets, 12 houses, and infinite combinations. You have to keep in mind Dasha, Mahadasha, sequences as well before you make any suggestion. So, like always say, chart has to be looked as a whole. You have to keep a lot of things in mind. So, I have decided to tell you a little. Hate me for it, but I am not taking responsibility for any bacha being pushed into any direction against as well. I am not going to interfere with people's karma. That's lesson number 1. Does somebody know who's the godfather of Vedic astrology? It is Rishi Parashar, and a very high soul, and we are all in his debt. He created Vedic astrology, and for thousands of years, people like me have been surviving on it and gaining from its wisdom. But even Rishi Parashar had to pay for his karma because he interfered in something. He was eaten alive by wolves. So people who want to practice astrology and they keep throwing their weight around, keep throwing their half-baked knowledge around, it is a dangerous business. Karma is a bitch. It gets to you. So be very clear what you put out in a public platform, how it can impact your audience and the people who trust you. So guys, love me or hate me, I'm going to keep it very generic. I'm not going to get into specifics because it can have negative consequences. So you have to look at the chart as a whole. Don't go by one particular yoga only. So remember, any intellectual careers, and Indians are of course obsessed with intellectual careers, right from banking to technology to medicine to UPSC. A person needs to have a very strong Mercury and Jupiter. Without the grace of either of these 2 planets, you cannot succeed at an intellectual career, no matter how hard you try. Try again se nahi hota boss. You need a certain amount of understanding and intellect in order to process those difficult to understand concepts. If it was that easy, everybody would be a doctor or engineer. In fact, everybody is an engineer thanks to so many colleges. I pity those people. They are terrible at math, and just the ambition of their parents that got them into an engineering career. In my HR days, I used to interview such young boys and girls, and they would simply hate that thing, and they would just want to come out of that. कि साहब कैसे भी job दे दो, I just want to get rid of the science nonsense, and my heart went out to them. So your child, if he or she is not intellectually brilliant, please do not push him into the meat grinders of Kota and Delhi. Okay. So for example, if your child is not a top student in mathematics, if it is anything less than 85%, don't push him into engineering. It's not cut out for. If your child doesn't have attention to detail and doesn't have patience, do not put him into chartered accountancy. He won't be able to handle that. Okay. If he has bad analytical skills, don't unnecessarily push him into computer science. नहीं हो पाएगा उससे. So I always say nurture the natural talent of the child. Not the child can be delusional. Okay. the delusion of the child is very easy to cure. You make him take the entrance exam once and he knows where he stands. It is the parents that worry me. And often I just hate this sentence when I hear it. कि साहब दिमाग तो बहुत है, पढ़ता नहीं है. नहीं है दिमाग उसमें. कम से कम उस चीज के लिए दिमाग नहीं है. Maybe for something else. Your child can be a sales god. Okay? Your child can be a marketing genius. Your child can be a HR person, but he or she is not cut out for engineering, and that's okay. So whatever yogas I plan to say, I'm going to curtail it by 80%. I'm not going to talk about a specific yogas. But yes, I will talk more on a generic kind of thing. I want these videos to make people's life easy, not more difficult. Now coming to the best question I had this week. How to deal with parents if they get disappointed if we don't end up with jobs like UPSC. I love you, bacha. Whosoever has listened this, my heart goes out to you. I was one of you. Okay, मैंने लिखा हुआ है UPSC. Okay, been through the grind. But thankfully, I realized in one attempt that this is not my cup of tea, at least under my current circumstances. Been there, done that. देखो हमारे पेरेंट्स के जनरेशन में दिस वाज द टॉप जॉब. टुडे नो मैटर हु यू बिकम, you will never be an IAS to your parents, or even a PCS, or even a government babu is God for them. Their generation, I call them Sarkar and Samaj generation. So they're fascinated with government jobs because there was nothing else. Private businesses थे नहीं, companies Tata Birla type पुरानी थी. The communistic governments were squeezing of them, and very few chances to become an entrepreneur. हर चीज के लिए license quota permit राज था. It was a very difficult time. Thankfully, we grew up in a different period. But उस time, if you have a government job, you had a short salary. You were the ruler. हर बंदे को आपके चरणों बैठना पड़ता था for the smallest of things. There was waiting list for Bajaj scooters. There were waiting list for phone lines. And the lineman was like the local celebrity. आज कौन पूछता है, we have this much better services, much better companies. So like I said, I'm a capitalist. I would rather rely on the billionaire companies than rely on the government employees. Yeah. So उन्होंने वही देखा है, and उनका ज़्यादातर वो पता नहीं बॉलीवुड का है या क्या है कि साहब मैं नहीं कर पाया तो मेरा बच्चा करेगा. Things don't work like that. So I often talk to parents, and कभी कभी ये क्वेश्चन आता है कि साहब हम चाहते हैं हमारा बच्चा UPSC निकाले, and I ask them आप कौन से जिले के कलेक्टर हैं. अरे सर हमारा तो हुआ नहीं. कहीं PCS लगे नहीं, कहीं क्लर्क लगे नहीं. तो साहब आप तो कोई एंट्री लेवल जॉब भी क्रैक नहीं कर पाया, बच्चा आपको चाहिए IAS. आपके जमाने में फिर भी लाखों में गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स निकलती थी, अब हजारों में निकलती है, आगे चल के सैकड़ों में निकलेंगी. सो यू हैव टू बी रियलिस्टिक. पेरेंट्स को डिसअपॉइंट करना शुड बी नॉर्मलाइज्ड इन दिस कंट्री. 5 years ago it was like really bad. अभी उल्टा थोड़ा सा सिस्टम शुरू हो रहा है. पुराने पेरेंट्स अभी भी हावी हैं, but new age parents are far more enlightened, especially those born in 1975 and after that. दे अंडरस्टैंड. अभी क्या हो गया, बच्चे थोड़े एंटाइटल्ड हो गए. अब सबको फॉरेन डिग्री करना जाना, 2 साल 1 करोड़ का लोन लो साहब भेजो, बच्चा ना लायक है फिर भी. ओके, दिस इज द की वे. इफ यू आर स्मार्ट इनफ यू विल डू समथिंग इन इंडिया. इफ यू डू नॉट हैव द टैलेंट, आप बाहर जाके भी कुछ नहीं करोगे. आप जो रुपए में खर्चा करना था वो डॉलर्स में करोगे, एंड यू विल थ्रो योर पेरेंट्स अंडर अ डेब्ट बर्डन. डोंट डू दैट. Similarly, parents should understand that they shouldn't be asking for the impossible from their children. Yeah? आपका बच्चा बचपन से ब्रिलियंट है, टॉपर है जिले का, यू डोंट नीड टू आस्क एन एस्ट्रोलॉजर इसका क्या होगा, यू वुड नो, ये निकाल लेगा. सो इफ यू आर आस्किंग मी इफ योर बच्चा विल बिकम अ UPSC सिलेक्शन, द आंसर इज नो. दूसरी चीज, उसके टाइम में देयर आर फार 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 फ्यूअर वैकेंसीज and far bigger number of applicants, so his possibility of clearing this exam is less than 0. So children, especially young folks, मेरा advice ये है, give it 2 attempts, not more than that. Okay, एक बार तो दे दो. I mean, you get to know how the world functions. Yeah, and choose the subjects you like, okay, so that you get a little in-depth knowledge. If you clear preliminary ones, then maybe give a second chance, or if you are very close. If you don't do it in 2 attempts, do not make the mistake of wasting 10 years of your lives. You know, ये किसी ने बहुत गलत कहा है कि साहब winners never quit and quitters never win. Winners know when to bloody quit. I repeat, winners know when to bloody quit. Billionaires have walked out of deals when they saw कि साहब यहाँ पे गलत फंस गए. That is why they are billionaires. They know when to cut their losses. Okay. Try again or never quit वाला फंडा was designed for slaves by the Westerners. और हमको ये ब्रिटिश ने सिखाया. And this has become a bane for this country. So देखो, hard work is a part of the equation. Yeah. You need talent first of all. Then you need hard work. Then you need good luck. Okay. And you have to be a rationalist. I'm a supreme rationalist. Okay. If things don't make sense, no amount of positive thinking or negative thinking is going to change them. Okay. I'll create another video on rationalism if you like, and on how to think rationally and not emotionally. So you can comment in the section rational, and I'll talk about it. I'll use a technique which has helped me a lot. So if you want me to create a video on that, do comment rational in the comment section. So parents have to be reasonable, children have to be reasonable. I will not talk about what yogas make a government employee. I do not want thousands of people to be thrown under the UPSC bus. No, I'm not taking any part of that karma. But if you are smart enough, give it 2 chances. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, move on with your life. Do not be 35 and unemployed after 10 years of UPSC preparation. And God knows there are armies of such people. What a waste of youth, what a waste of genius, what a waste of intelligence. There are too many avenues nowadays. It's a brave new world. You know, internet technology, all this has enabled us. It's no longer, 5-10 people on the top who will decide everything. Now you can run a very, very successful company out of one room office. So start thinking like that. Okay? Know yourself. That's the ultimate career advice. Know yourself. And for the parents, know your children and be reasonable. Okay? So I'll see you in the next video. I hope you liked this one. I know I haven't given a lot of astrology gyan in this one, but you understand why I did it, right? So I'll see you in the next video, and we'll take up something new very, very soon. So I'll see you shortly. Jai Ma.